Oi, I'm Dr. Darcie Little Badger. I'm a Lipan Apache scientist with a PhD in oceanography. I'm also a storyteller. So I do everything from comics to short science fiction and fantasy stories to novel-length works. And helping me today is my mom,
Oi.
Dr. Linda Walking Woman, and she's the Director of Education and Policy, the Lipan Apache tribe. So I want to talk a little bit about my debut book, Elatsoe, which was published in August 2020. First, the title itself is a Lipan word that means hummingbird, but it's also the name of my grandmother. So this is actually a portrait that I painted of my grandma when I was in high school. And her name was Anita Elatsoe Soto. And it was important to me to name the book after her. For a couple of reasons. First, the theme of family is very strong throughout Elatsoe. But more importantly, I would not be here today as a storyteller. I would not be the woman that I am without the support of my family. My mom and my grandma are two of the strongest people that I know. So I really appreciate just the positive influence that family has made in my life. And that's something that I think resonates, in the book itself. So thank you, Mom. You can tell she's helping me even right now. Thanks. Anyway, Elatsoe tells the story of a Lipan teen named Ellie, who lives in a world that's very similar to ours, with a few exceptions. There's things like fairy rings that can transport people almost instantaneously from one side of the earth to the other. There's also magic, and there's vampire curses, and there's monsters, many of which are inspired by the stories that I heard as a child, the stories that my mother told me, which are traditional Lipan stories, passed down through generations of Lipan people. Now, Ellie also has this pretty unique ability. She can wake the ghosts of animals. These include animals that live in contemporary times, like dogs and mosquitoes. But they also include extinct animals, things like woolly mammoths and trilobites. So this ability was actually developed by her 6th great grandmother, who's this really fun character. As you'll find in the book, she went on lots of adventures. And she actually taught this knowledge to her children, and it was passed down through generations of Ellie's family, almost like the stories were passed down through generations of my family. And Ellie is, she's just chilling one summer when her beloved cousin is murdered. And he is murdered in a way that is set up to resemble a car accident, so the authorities don't really look into it. But Ellie knows that somebody named Dr. Abe Allerton was responsible for her cousin's death. What she doesn't know is why this stranger would kill her cousin. What did he gain to benefit from this horrendous act? And how did he do it in such a strange way, in an inexplicable way? So the book tells the story of her attempt to investigate her cousin's murder and to find justice for her family. And she is helped by her friends and members of her family. And she's also helped by her ghost dog, Kirby, who could do a lot of supernatural tricks. And Kirby is inspired by my first dog, or our family's first dog, Kirby, who is a really good boy. So I hope you enjoy reading about him. And her investigation brings her to this kind of creepy town named Willoughby in South Texas. And the more Ellie looks into this town, the more she realizes that it hides a lot of secrets, dangerous secrets, ones that the people of the town don't want the rest of the world to know. So that's Elatsoe, and I won't give away any spoilers, but I do hope you enjoy reading it. I did want to highlight another element of this book that I find really cool, and that's the art. So you can see the cover here is actually illustrated by Rovina Kai, and just here's the main character, Elatsoe, and here's some ghost dogs. And also hidden on the back is her 6th great grandma. But what's really neat about this book is every chapter contains an illustration by Rovina. And these illustrations actually tell a separate story, a story through images. And it's one that connects to the plot in a very unique way. And this story involves the adventures of Ellie's 6th great grandmother, who I mentioned is quite a character. She was quite a heroic figure. And one thing that was really cool about these illustrations is that they show Lipan people in the past, hundreds of years ago. So I had a chance to collaborate with Ravina and make sure that visually these representations of our people were as accurate as they could be in terms of, you know, the clothing that they wore and the environments that they lived in. So I hope you enjoy that story too. And I'm so happy that I was able to collaborate with Ravina on this. Like, she's just an exceptional illustrator. I do recommend that you check out her other work. Now I better wrap things up. I did want to thank my mom again, though, for helping me. And thank everybody for the support for my debut book. I really appreciate it. You know, growing up, I was a voracious reader. Books were my main escape from life. You know, they're one of my main sources of joy. Like, as a hobby, I was a big reader. And yeah, the hundreds of books I read as a kid growing up and then as a teenager, I never read about a Lipan protagonist. So it's just so cool to have this opportunity to tell a story that features a young adult who grew up in my culture. And just the reception that Elatsoe has received from all types of readers, you know, young readers, adult readers, readers who are native, readers who aren't native. It's just been so positive in an almost overwhelming way. So I do really appreciate the support. And bye.
Hau.
Hau.